I'm already not feeling confident about the amount of chaos we have today, with a bunch of DraftKings people in town, with a bunch of winners of contests in town, with Zaslow in a race car outfit having all sorts of trouble with his headphones because he can't get his headphones in and around the race car helmet that he's wearing. We've got yammering Dave Dameshek in town as part of our watch party proceedings. Juju's in town. Amin is cross-eyed and wearing FBI gear. Jeremy hasn't stopped writing Trey Savage stats on a board since 11 p.m. last night. And now Pablo is reporting something, and the Clippers have just stopped answering his calls. Like the Clippers will now not respond to Pablo as he's kind of ensnared Tyronn Lue in the middle of all this stuff, a name we had not seen.
Ensnared is strong. Ensnared is strong, Dan.
Okay, so what's the verb you would use?
I would use adjacent. Like, oh, there's Tyronn Lue. He's adjacent to what's going on, but he's not ensnared. I don't think ensnared is right.
That's not a verb. It's not. I need a verb for what it is that Pablo has done to Tyronn Lue.
You're looking for snitch, Dano. Snitch.
Snitch.
But we agree this sound is worthy of this, though.
I don't think so. I'm not sure, because this is only for breaking news that no one else has that's going to make headlines all over the sports globe, and this one is too entangled to have reverberations that are going to be covered or aggregated, right? Shouldn't this sound, I mean, you were a part of this episode for Pablo. Pablo will be on with us later. Shouldn't this sound be reserved exclusively for something that's going to create spinning newspaper headlines?
Pablo's news breaking has torpedoed the sports world.
You're going to stay in character as Cash Patel all show?
It's going to be a long one if he does that.
Dan Le Batard, your days of gross tonnage have come to an end.
No, they have not. I'm going to eat so many nachos at Flanagan's tonight. Zaslow, were you trying to say something into your helmet?
Oh, did that not come? Are you not hearing me?
Who were you trying to talk to?
I'm trying to communicate with my pit crew.
And you can bet on it.
Dameshek, welcome. It is nice to see you in studio for the first time. Football America is our hit football show at Meadowlark Media, and if you want more Steelers information that you can possibly handle, you should come to the watch party tonight and get cornered by Dave Dameshek.
Yeah, we're going to talk about number 87 and how black and gold doesn't just belong to Sidney Crosby. We'll get into Ouija Thompson, the great 6'7" University of Florida wide receiver who shined with Bubby Brister and the rest of them back there, like I say, in the mid to late 80s.
If you talk to Dave Dameshek tonight, you better steel yourself for a boring conversation.
Say Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
The basketball open, huh? On Thursday night football with the Dolphins and Lamar Jackson, you guys are going basketball open, and Zaz has declared today, and this is very early in the season, a Heat buy-in game. I have no idea what that means. I don't think I've ever heard 5 games into a season that's 82 games.
Very important night tonight for the Miami Heat. This is what we call a buy-in game, Dan, because if the Heat win this one and they wind up giving the Spurs, you know about Wembanyama? If they wind up giving the Spurs their first loss of the season, that's a buy-in game for them. Then you could take them serious. That's a buy-in game.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple of times now, though I'm not totally sure what it means. That means if they beat Wembanyama today on the road, you're going to make them championship contender worthy?
Now I'm buying in. I'm buying in.
But you're a homer. You always buy in on the Heat.
No, that's not true. I went into this season very skeptical. And I told you as recently as yesterday, I'm very confused about what I'm watching with the Heat. But tonight, if you tag the Spurs with their first loss, if you take that ass against Wembanyama, then I'm buying in.
Narrow ass.
It is a narrow ass.
Narrow ass, Dan. Have you seen that ass?
It's one of the narrowest asses to ever dominate basketball, I would say. Wembanyama, Amin, your thoughts here? Heat against Spurs tonight? You believe this is a game worthy of buy-in status as declared by Zaz?
If the Miami Heat defeat the Victor Wembanyama San Antonio Spurs, I'll turn the heat up on their championship aspirations.
Wow. I don't think I can do this with you all show.
You can bet on it.
It's too, I'm already tired of this character, and we are like 2 minutes into the show. I can't handle you being Kash Patel all show and speaking that slowly on a show that pinballs like this.
His eyes look like Kash Patel. He's like the eyes.
There you go. That's it right there.
La Costa Nostra.
If we're doing thin asses, I nominate Manute Bol.
I mean, it's a fine nomination, but it's not a dominant basketball player. Like we're talking. I already
Equally famous.
I already hear people talking like if non-injury division that this is going to be an all-time immortal player, top 5 that we've ever seen, and it would be number 1 all-time narrow ass excellence.
When it comes to narrow asses, Wembanyama is the victor.
Wow.
And you can bet on that.
Tayshaun Prince.
Again,
good narrow ass, though.
Excellent. Yes, we're basically
I'm just looking for other ones, Dan.
No,
I can't beat Wembanyama.
I got it.
Slim Reaper. I mean, 6'10" Kevin Durant. What are we doing?
Oh, that's a good one, actually. Good job, Dave.
If Tayshaun is the prince of narrow asses, then Kevin Durant is the king. And you can bet on that.
Reggie Miller?
Yes, we're just doing thin players now.
Thank you.
You got him, Dano.
All right, let's find a fat guy with a narrow ass. I'm on it.
Hoya's icon, Reggie Williams.
There you go.
No, there you don't go. And I'm sorry to do this to you so early in the proceedings, Dave, but let me see if I can find it.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, dumpster juice take.
Hold on, we got somebody for this, Dano. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Like Tyronn Lue, I've been ensnared.
Wow.
I've been told by sources after Tony got his verb and his verbiage wrong in the Shadow Show that on Mystery Crate you were outed as someone who doesn't know what a verb is.
That was false. First off, who I don't even remember that episode, to be honest, Dan. I
remember that, though.
Whoever was saying that didn't understand what I was trying to say, and they didn't get it. Again, I don't remember. It was so insignificant to me, and I was just so on to the next thing. I don't even remember who said it or why they said it, but they were wrong. It's okay.
Have any of you checked out the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode? Because it again contacts the Clippers, and the Clippers do not respond this time. And this information about Tyronn Lue, Tony's got it right when he says he's just sort of adjacent to the poker part of this story, but the poker part of the story and the game fixing part of this story are more enmeshed than people think because of a character that Pablo spends the whole show basically telling the story through, which is central casting for a alleged dirty gambler, shady snitch, informant, ringleader, Sugar Shane, not Mosley. His name is, let me see if I, thank you. Sugar Shane Hennon is the name. And Amin is in the middle of this episode, and I'm hoping I could get him to break character in order to tell us more about what Pablo Torre is reporting. Thank you for taking off your FBI
Let me switch hats.
cap.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. All right, hey guys, Amin's here. There we go. What'd I miss?
You're updating the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode and what verb you would use to associate Tyronn Lue to this story, because his name was thrown into the mix 20 minutes in. Kevin Garnett's was too, even less adjacent than Tyronn Lue, just sort of in the vicinity, near the whiff, but not near any of the bad sewage stuff.
I think part of what turns up the heat is because of Pablo's other ongoing investigation into the Clippers. If Tyronn Lue worked for the Milwaukee Bucks or for the San Antonio Spurs and his name came up here, I think you'd have the same feeling that you did about Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all those other guys who have played in some of these card games. But I think it's because he's with the Clippers and we know how much work we've done about the Clippers in the last couple of months. It feels like the heat has ratcheted up a number of notches.
Kevin Garnett, thin ass.
That's a good one from you.
I mean, he's also skinny. How's that one good and the other ones weren't? They're all skinny.
No, but,
like,
but
I'm
you
naming
know,
all
you
skinny
know when
guys.
you know. You know when you know, and KG's a good thing.
I'm going to find a fat guy with a thin ass.
Thin asses onto the compo.
He's back.
I don't have much of an ass.
That is true.
I'm fairly assless.
Me too. I'm a big guy. My wife always says no ass.
I've always
She says it's a cute. No, she does say cute little butt.
She always says it.
What about you,
She
Zaz?
says cute little butt, which means like that's what it means.
No, I get sixth grade ass, but
See, there-
yeah, but you when you say your wife always says no ass, that has a double meaning that takes me to a story that Zaz had last night because Jeremy. I should talk about the World Series. I should talk about the fact that Trey Savage did something that only he has done before. According to OptaStats, there have been 2 games in Major League postseason history where a pitcher has struck out 10-plus batters, struck out 5 consecutive batters, struck out 50% of the batters he's faced, allowed fewer than 5 base runners, and earned the win. Both times, it was Trey Savage, who was doing things that like only Sandy Koufax has done in a World Series. And the first 4 Dodger hitters, that's a top 3 offense the Dodgers have. Top 3 in all of baseball. The first 4 Dodger hitters last night, that's Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, they went a combined 1 for 15 with 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts. And Jeremy has spent the entire evening
He has only made $57,204 this season. There are only 2 pitchers ever with 10.
Keep fading him in and out. He's been doing that since last night, just nonstop talking about what Trey Savage did. So we should be talking about that baseball game.
Dan, Jeremy Tachey's pitch clock has run out, and you can bet on it.
Well, no, pitch clock is
16 strikeouts in that regular season. There are only 4 pitchers ever with 11 strikeouts in a World Series game in the last.
Pitch clock is later in the show. It hasn't run out. You got to work on the impersonation having some range. He's got to make at least some sense if he's going to be stiff and cross-eyed. Pitch clock is later in the show. It hasn't run out. It's going to be later in today's show. Why would you say that it's run out?
I guess I need to.
Every single Dodger. And there are only 3 pitchers ever who have struck out every single player in a starting lineup. Randy Johnson.
The listeners know what I mean, Dan, and you can bet on that.
Zaslow last night couldn't be a part of the live stream.
Nah.
And what is it that you texted Jeremy when he asked you to be a part of his live stream last night?
Yeah, Jeremy, like it was very aggressive. He just no communication. He texts me a link. Just the link shows up and it says, "You can join!" with an exclamation point. Like there was no work up to that. It's just like here.
Well, but you said to him, "I'm trying to get laid."
Yeah, well then I wrote back to him, I go, "I'm trying to get laid over here, playa."
That's a good out. Like that's a good excuse.
Did you?
No.
Should have joined.
I mean the emphasis on trying, and it didn't work. I got to work on. My game was lacking last night.
It was a Wednesday. That's not a sex night.
Oh, but you see, my wife was in Argentina for like the last 10 days. I'm leaving for the weekend for Jacksonville tomorrow. So I understand, like, it's Wednesday. Get it in when you can get it in, Dan. And
Ironically, hump day, not a sex day.
Didn't work last night.
So your wife also saying no ass.
That's just I'm with her though. Wednesdays, who needs that?
I think every night is a sex night, Dan, in my book.
At Le Batard Show, is Wednesday night a sex night?
Not in the Zaslow mansion.
Is Zaz like Ray Romano in Everybody Loves Raymond? I'm always struck by that show that he has to beg his own wife to bed down with him, as though it's a gift for somebody.
There's a lot of things that Dave says and phrases that I don't like. I just want to be honest with him.
But I don't think that's a phrase. Bed down with him. You either get down with him or you go to bed with him. I don't think you bed down with him.
Trying to bed down tonight, Dan.
And you can bet on that.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does anybody use the phrase to bed down to refer to having sex? Because it's not something that I've heard at all.
Sipowicz in his old cop
NYPD
show,
Blue.
NYPD Blue, he once said, "Did you
Great
have
show.
sex on that boy?" I always remember that one. Have sex on is a good one.
Sipowicz, slim ass for a fat guy.
It's a great reference.
Remember, that was a huge deal. NYPD Blue was the first time ever on network television that there was going to be nudity, so everyone was tuning in. And what was the nudity we got in that episode? We got Sipowicz's ass in the shower. That was it. Man, that's called a tease, Dan.
ABC's television lineup was blue that night.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show, because Tony has no idea what we're talking about here. But, Tony, when I tell you that network television created a ruckus throughout America where people were calling their local network saying that's inappropriate, the first human ass shown on network television.
Some fat guy?
Yes, Dennis Sipowicz.
In the shower. No, Andy Sipowicz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dennis Franz was the actor.
Thank you. That's an excellent correction. We have found an incredible
That was my show.
an incredible Zaz wheelhouse. But yes, it was a huge American scandal that on network television, the first ass shown was of a frumpy fat guy.
Really? And everybody got upset about that?
There was a repressed America reacted with great outrage that that was the ass shown for the first time on network television.
I think part of the problem is that Tony doesn't know what Andy Sipowicz looks like. If you
That's
saw
also
him, it would homer home.
Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look up Dennis Franz.
Candelaria and himself in the ALDS. So he's the third youngest pitcher, but that's only because he's also the second youngest pitcher to be able to do it. And he has this release point.
None of you want to talk about the World Series, right? I'm looking at a room full of people here, crowded, who have sports opinions, and I don't believe that any of you want to talk baseball.
I do, and I understand that the Jays are a story and a great one, Vlad Guerrero on down. But to me, the big takeaway here is the Dodgers are one loss away from being the Atlanta Braves, but worse. Oh, there he is, Sipowicz.
That looks like Stavi in 20 years.
It does. Holy God.
Great call.
That is a great call by Tony.
You just told me Stavi's. You saw Stavi's ass. I was like, oh, okay.
Bump the Raiders, yo. Or the Ravens.
Flacco.
Tonight we've got the Ravens and the Dolphins. The Ravens line keeps going up. The Ravens are now at -8 tonight. I heard on the way in that in Ravens games and Dolphins games this year, because the defenses are so bad, 87% of the time the over has come in those games because the defenses are so terrible. And Zaslow's here saying that the more interesting game tonight, this has to be regionally, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think the nation wants to see Lamar Jackson come back. Everybody's saying this week, all of a sudden I'm hearing everyone saying that your beloved Steelers, Dave, are going to give up. They're going to cough up the division to the Ravens, who had it there, who just gave it away to them at the beginning of the season.
Are they going to do that?
One 60-minute stretch may define the Steelers season. The loss at Cincy to decrepit Joe Flacco and company was a grim one. They could have been 5-1 and a full 4 games ahead of the Ravens, even though it's a third of the season. That would be a tall mountain for Lamar and company to overcome. As it is now, the Steelers are falling apart. Colts this weekend, then at the Chargers. They still have to play the Bills. They have to play the Ravens twice. I am not optimistic as a Steelers
splitters
fan.
that were low and away, and the reason I kept saying it over and over again, you got to mix up and down, you got to mix in and out, and that's how you attack the Dodgers.
Dan,
lineup.
to be fair to Zaz, it is a sneaky good NBA night, right? Because Spurs versus Heat, on first blush, people say, oh, that's boring, I don't know. But obviously Wembanyama's been playing great, and the Heat have been the best offense in the NBA, and so there's something there. Yeah. It's a great game that's going to be on League Pass. Meanwhile, on NBA TV, you got Warriors versus Bucks.
Big game?
Huge game. What are you talking? Come on, 2 MVPs.
Okay, hold on a second. Warriors, Bucks, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Don't we have imaging for this? Big game or not big game? Don't we have it?
The Warriors are 4-1. The Bucks are 3-1. Something's got to give. That's a big game. That's a big game.
Big game.
That's a big game.
Damashek said that the Steelers are falling apart. Do you mean physically or just architecturally? Because one of the interesting things halfway through the season, the Dolphins are super hurt. They've got a lot of injuries on top of everything else. But one of my favorite things in the middle of the season, as people fall apart, as teams fall apart, and human beings fall apart, next thing you know, you're looking up and the Broncos need some help to get to the top of the division and catch the Chiefs. And how are they going to do it? With 41-year-old Mercedes Lewis. He's back.
He's still doing it?
No, he's back.
Jack.
He is back for one more job. Mercedes Lewis at 41 years old, carrying around a machine that I imagine has IVs, a dialysis machine running through your secondary.
But can still block one guy with a hand.
And absolutely get open for a 6-yard button hook. Like he will, from Bo Nix, like Mercedes Lewis is how the Denver Broncos are going to chase down the Chiefs at the top of the division, even though they're ahead of the division. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do the Broncos have to chase down the Chiefs even though the Chiefs are behind them?
Architecturally, it makes sense.
Ultimately, when you see that slider, right, with right-handed batters, he's going to go low and away with it. It's going to get them lunging, but that's when he busts up and in, and then he attacks him with a splitter, right? So
if you want me to be honest, Ohtani trying to swing for the fences every time pisses me off, Dan. And I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to even see. Talk about thin ass on a fat guy. Alejandro Kirk. I don't want to see that guy ever again, okay? Tired of Alejandro Kirk. Oh, he's so cool. He's a frumpy little guy. He's a cat. No, guy sucks. Get him out of here.
What happened? Like, why are you so mad at Alejandro
I'm
Kirk?
a Dodgers guy, Dan. You know that. And it's pissing me off. The way that every single player tries to swing for the fences with Trey Savage throwing a splitter that drops 6 feet.
I'll tell you what I'm tired of. Last night, I'm waiting for the game to start, so I got the Cavs and Celtics on the small TV in the Zaslow Mansion family room, and on the big TV, I got the World Series pregame. You'd probably be saying, why don't I have it the other way around? Why don't I have the actual game going on in the pregame on the small TV? I didn't want to have to change the TV, so I'm getting set.
Smart move.
I'm getting ready. So let's just put the pregame on the big TV. And I'm tired of this Derek Jeter. Boy, he sucks.
This is how Zaz sets the mood for love.
That's right.
I got that on the little screen.
Right.
Come in here, sugar.
The only thing missing was me announcing to my wife that Monday Night Raw is on. Cody Rhodes is in the ring. You know, she loves when I do that.
Okay.
But this Derek, Dan, I turn on the pregame, and right away I get this Derek Jeter. He sucks. And straight up just says, Blake Snell is definitely going to be incredible tonight. Like, how could you say that? He's like, I get it, Blake Snell's really good. You're facing the American League champions here. How is he definitely going to be really good? And guess what? The first 2 batters of the game, home run.
That part was amazing. At 3 pitches into the game, he'd given up 2 solo shots, and I was listening. I'm listening to Boog Shambi on the radio, and these are the stats that he gives. That Blake Snell's strikeout rate is better than Bob Gibson's. Like, it's number 1. And also, in 48% of his games, he either gives up 0 runs or 1 run. First pitch, 1 run. Third pitch, 2 runs. That's got to be the first time that's ever happened in the history of the sport.
I got a question. I'm new to baseball, admittedly. But looking at the game last night, does Blake Snell look like Kenny Powers to y'all? Or is it just me?
He's like Kenny Powers on Ozempic.
I
He's
saw
more
a
like Cougine.
I saw a Cougine.
Yeah, Cougine.
That's it. That's a good call.
Everything Jeter says, he's wrong. Stop. No one cares about your predictions. And if you're going to give predictions, get it right once in a while.
Give me a
Sucks.
full extension out. Full extension out. That's what Trey Savage is doing, right? You get that split finger grip, and that's why Shohei Ohtani's leaning out in front.
All he does is lean out in front. Buddy, he's going to throw the split. It's going to drop like a trap door. What are you doing?
Speaking of Derek Jeter and getting things wrong, he did say after Yamamoto pitched a complete game that he definitely wasn't going to pitch another complete game. And then Yamamoto then did indeed pitch another complete game.
Take care, brush your hair.
Juju, I've got to.
It's Kenny Powers.
I understand why you're doing that, but that is way too narrow an ass to be Kenny Powers.
It's his sick brother.
Kenny Powers.
Lenny Powers.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does Blake Snell look like Kenny Powers' sick younger brother, Lenny Powers? At Le Batard Show.
He's chinless. Yeah, I mean, he's not
Come on,
at all
look at that.
comparable.
Take care, brush your hair.
I disagree with you, though, Zaz, on Blake Snell having a bad outing. I mean, yes, the 2 go balls to start the game were bad, but he went 116 pitches against the American League champs.
Jeter said he was going to throw a gem.
You're mad at Jeter, not Snell.
Right. Snell was fine. You can't announce that a pitcher's going to throw a gem and the first 2 batters go yard.
First 3 pitches, 2 home runs. This one's confusing. Damashek, that was such a good correction, and yet you lose. Zaslow is correct.
Well,
but it can never be a gem if 3 pitches in, you've allowed two baseballs to leave the park.
Touche, but it also deserves the asterisk of the curse of Sposta, which is what Blake Snell and the Dodgers are carrying on their shoulders on top of. They are supposed to win this one, and it's not just this series, it is this era. And they are, like I was saying a few minutes ago before Sipowicz interrupted me, Sipowicz's skinny ass or otherwise.
Stay focused, damn Shaq.
A seminal moment in TV history, Dave.
Yeah, the Dodgers are about to become the Atlanta Braves, and I think America at large is going to be happy about it. I mean, they have 2 titles versus the Braves having the 1, but the COVID one only counts for half, and I think we all agree with that.
I'd be careful with that, just given that it's Yamamoto in Game 6 and then Ohtani in Game 7. And in Game 7, the Blue Jays are going to throw Scherzer out there throwing 92 miles an hour. That is not who you want to be your Game 7 starter. How old is Scherzer? Is Scherzer as old as Mercedes Lewis? I think he is as old. I think he's 41 years old as well.
Will it be Ohtani Game 7? We know that, yeah?
I'm assuming so.
I thought Ohtani was going to be in the bullpen for 6 and 7.
Sampson said last night that it would be Glass now in Game 7.
But Ohtani will be ready.
All arms available Game 7.
But still, okay, if it's Glass now, I mean, Glass now is also an ace.
Nice correction for Dan, who clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, because you have a guy in Blake Snell who looks like the only person in the world ever named Snell. And why is he throwing fastballs early in the game? You got an ever-aggressive Blue Jays team. They jump on first.
He's going after you.
No, well, that's the other thing. I tune into his broadcast last night, and the first thing he's doing is questioning all of Blake Snell's technique and strategy when he's a 2-time Cy Young winner and Jeremy's out here saying, well, you got to throw that fastball in a different place. Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. That's probably what
the splitter's a trap door, then it falls.
Ultimate aggressive team in the Toronto Blue Jays. They led the league in hitting for a reason. They jump on that first.
Oh, the video team thinks he looks like Nick Wright.
While all of you are here, can I get the bucket in play, because we've got a crowded show today. David Sampson's going to be on with us. Pablo Torre's going to be on with us. Jessica Smetana is going to be on with us, and all of us here are going to be at the Miller Lite watch party tonight in Kendall. It's a block party. It's a costume party. It is the Dolphins against Baltimore in a game that I suspect only has a regional interest here that is real super thin, because I don't expect much of anything from the Dolphins this season. And to be more than a touchdown underdog at home, I don't expect much from them tonight either.
Danny, you said it. We're throwing a Miller Lite watch party for Thursday Night Football. Dolphins, Ravens at the Flanagans in Kendall. My home Flanagans, by the way. Kendall Drive and 127th Ave. Join us tonight for a Halloween block party. Costumes encouraged. Come hang out with the crew. Dan, Chris, Roy, Tony, Jeremy, Amin, Juju, Dave, Damashek, and more. Party starts at 6. Kickoff at 8:15. And don't miss Flanagan's $1,500 costume contest. It's Miller Time, presented by Miller Time. Maybe we'll have a special guest appearance by Kash Patel, too.
Kash Patel just distracted your read there by putting.
The thing is, his jacket is very
FBI
plasticky,
jacket
right?
on. Yeah,
and it's like I hear the rustling, and then my senses, I gotta like do like a chameleon thing where I split my eyes and look the other way.
That's how you know the FBI's coming. They got them windbreakers.
Exactly right.
Did put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is that how you know the FBI is coming? They've got them windbreakers. Tony, did you listen to Pablo Torre Finds Out? Because
Dano, I found out. Pablo Torre finds out. Tony finds out. I got something for Pablo Torre later on.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to give anything to the audience in the way of a tease on
Yes.
this episode? Because Amin is starring in this episode. Amin, who is doing a lot of role playing throughout Meadowlark Media. He looked like a poker player. He was dressed a bit like Chris Moneymaker in terms of trying to put the sunglasses on and trying to give off the appearance that he was in a rigged card game. What can you tell us about the episode, Tony? How much of it did you absorb and retain?
The entire thing. So obviously the episode centers around this guy, Sugar Shane, who is kind of what Pablo's painting, maybe the architect of some of the things that are going on, right? But there's a lot of callbacks to former episodes where there was stuff with the Jonte Porter group chat. So the Malik Beasley story in July. So with all this together, right? Tyrone Lue is mentioned, KG is mentioned, but the entire show basically is framed around this guy, Sugar Shane.
Allegedly,
who's allegedly maybe taking a plea deal, but then also maybe pleading not guilty. Like, there's a couple things going on. But the one thing that I know for sure is that I've realized what Pablo's game is. I get his game now. Gets sources, he gets people, this and that.
This is again, by the way, this is again months of investigation. Yep. This is more than 20 sources. This is thousands of documents again.
Mm-hmm. And I found out who one of his sources is. I know it from listening.
Shh.
I can tell. Oh, I know what's going on here. I know Pablo's game.
You got to be careful with that. You got to protect Pablo's sources.
For sure, and I'm going to protect him. But I just know. I want him to know. I know.
I know who it is.
I know who it is. It took me 30 seconds of investigation. So think about it. It took you months and thousands of documents and people and 900 people you talked to. I found out 2 seconds in.
I like the idea of Tony finds out, takes 30 seconds of an investigation. Just give him 30 seconds. He's going to find out something.
I just need to hear a couple things. Beep, beep, beep. All right, I know who it is.
But Dan, to the point of the episode, this character, Shane Hennon, astute listeners will remember back in July when we were talking about Malik Beasley and the Jonte Porter text messages, as Tony mentioned. Shane Hennon was a central figure in all of this, right? And so as you look at the indictments that came down, there were 3 different ones, right? One was Operation Nothing But Bet. One was Operation Royal Flush, Nothing But Bet, centered around 2 different groups of people. The only connective tissue through all of that was Shane Hennon. Mm-hmm. And so we've been doing months of investigation on him, digging deep into his social media posts. Which is great, by the way. And we had our hands on some documents that were public, right? I know Pat Forty came out with something late last night. That had a lot of similar material, but we got some documents that weren't public. And again, Dan, this is the thing. When I do these Pablo episodes, I have an idea. I definitely, in this one, a lot more than the Kwai one, because I've contributed to some of the research and the findings, but they always come with some stuff. I'm like, you had this? You found this? Tony, how about the part where the Miami Heat factored in? Huh?
Oh, Dano, if you zoom in and clarify.
Well, don't hold on. I saw it is nice storytelling, and he's doing a futuristic kind of journalism with
like Amazon's basketball coverage,
old-fashioned journalism principles, and so he's telling nice and fun stories. But don't give away too much here.
We're not going to give it away, but I'm just saying there is something fun where in the middle of these episodes I feel like I'm in a movie. All the President's Men or whatever. It's like, wait a second, let me see that picture again. Enhance again.
Clarify it.
Do we have another angle? And they're like, oh my God. It's an amazing reveal. And it's again, the fruit of months and months of research.
Okay. And amazing reveals are part of what Pablo does. But I think I am with Tony Finds Out and the 30-second episode of Pablo's fallen in love with that voice distortion. He's fallen in love with the shadowy pixelation, and he did it to somebody that I believe I've heard tell that story without pixelation or without.
This is not Dan finds out. This is not Dan finds out.
I don't know. I'm not.
My boy Cook.
Kind of sounds like you're finding out.
I have not found out.
You found out because I told you.
I'm theorizing about what you found out.
I also thought it was that guy too.
Whoa!
I gotta
not
feel
Chris
like-
finds out. This is not Chris finds out.
Chris Tan finds out is like 10 seconds long, and then Chris finds out is like 2 seconds
I just
long.
saw the distorted sound. I'm like, oh, I've seen that guy tell that story.
This is like that scene in There's Something About Mary where it's like 5-minute abs. Like, that's great. Until someone comes out with 4-minute abs. Like, no. It's 5-minute abs.
When I
50%
saw
of the batters they faced, fewer than 5 base runners and a win. Both of those postseason games, Trey Yesavage. He's just the 12th pitcher ever with 12 strikeouts in a World Series game.
When I saw the modulation, my immediate thought was, wait a minute, I think Pablo is doing this to people who aren't asking for anonymity because he just likes doing it.
That guy has spoken a couple times, and I don't think he's.
Maybe
he
that
wants
guy.
to be. Again, what I found out. I don't think that guy wants to be muzzled, Dan.
We're not sure. We're going to go to the bucket with everyone here. Anyone who is here on a Thursday has to go to the Dentech bucket. We have all of the games. Damashek has never been to the bucket.
You picked a bad day to be here, Dave.
Yeah, Juju has rarely been to the bucket, but we are now all going to the Dentech bucket. I will tell you guys again, when it comes to teeth grinding, if you are having trouble with your jaw or TMJ, Dentech helps with that. This mouth guard, if you sleep with it and you use it correctly, will help you. What are you shaking your head no
Dan,
about?
he had picked he picked something out of the bucket before you said go, so it doesn't count.
Cheater, fucking eater.
Okay, why aren't you guys legislating this?
I did. That's why I had to wave you
You
off.
got to keep an eye on Damashek.
He was also looking in the bucket. Another no-no.
He's a known cheater.
How dare you?
I
How
saw
dare
you.
you, sir? How
I saw
dare
you. You're trying to bed the bucket. I saw it.
Leveling accusations against me will not stand, sir.
You put your hand in there. You don't look.
Excuse me, good sir. I will not stand for this. I will not be ensnared in your accusation.
You are standing.
Can I now take one?
Yes.
The bucket is presented by Dentech's Ultimate Fantasy Football Punishment.
I got the exact same one I took out beforehand, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Learn more and sign up your league at dentech.com.
They're a 2.5-point favorite at Buffalo. That line keeps going up in favor of Kansas City. Are you taking them, or are you going to put it back and try and get a better one?
I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to cover against the Buffalo Bills.
All right, on to Juju.
Josh Allen has beaten them a lot in the regular season, right? He just never beats them in the postseason.
Yeah, don't bet on it, John Dano. I got the New York Giants.
The New York Football Giants are 2.5-point underdogs at home against the Niners.
No Scottaboo, no picking the helmet.
Wow. Scotto was showing the line.
Everything. I got the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I'm sorry, they're a 3.5-point dog at home against Jacksonville.
I don't think that's that bad.
That's a lot of dog, Dano.
If you're going to get the Raiders, it's a decent spot
That's
to
a
get the
dead
Raiders.
dog, Tony. That's the Raiders.
Tell me about it. They both are dead dogs, Dano. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a bye week.
Yep, you got to buy.
I'm undefeated this year.
Cash Patel, it is your turn to reach into the bucket. Go Go ahead.
Costa Nostra.
Stay in character. You got to keep your eyes crossed. You're not keeping your eyes crossed.
Sometimes it's hard to see the truth. I got the Bears.
The Chicago Bears
They are on the road at Cincinnati. They're a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm putting it back in the bucket.
Really? Wow. Scared of Joe Flacco.
I can't bear to bet against Flacco, and you can bet on it.
Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Probably going to be Jake Browning.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's a big maybe.
Oh, wow. He should have
Now
taken
they
him.
tell me. Damn it. I got the Niners.
Oh, their favorite.
McCorkle.
At the Giants, 2.5-point favorite. All right, here we go.
Tony, that's good analysis, just shouting McCorkle.
I just got to know.
I got the Colts. That feels like a good one. Only 3.5-point favorites at the Steelers. That Damashek Steel. I'm keeping the Colts.
Yeah, good move.
This is the kind of game that Tomlin does win. that keeps them in play for 9-8, 10-7. This is a Tomlin special.
I was looking at them for Survivor this week. I'm like, nah, the Steelers could do it.
This is the game that Aaron Rodgers loses, though.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Zaz is up.
I got the Browns.
Woof. I'm sorry.
On a bye.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
What I'm talking about.
You want to swap with me?
Swap buys?
No, I don't want to swap.
Why
not?
Why are you swapping?
You technically can't
You're
swap.
not allowed to just swap like that. That's the Vikings I got. Do I want the Vikings?
Vikings are a 9.5-point underdog at the Lions.
Keep them.
Bad pick, Daniel.
Thank you, Tony. I got the Bengals. I'm going to lose every
Jake Browning.
damn year.
You love costumes, though. It's
every
fine.
week. No, I don't love wearing the costume. They give me a headache, and then Juju accuses me of being tone deaf.
Legacy of Norm Macdonald. Rest in power.
Norm Macdonald passed away. It was a surprise to many. He had kept his illness a secret for 9 years. And he was one of our favorite celebrity prognosticators because he did awkward comedy, uncomfortable comedy so very well. He would insult people to their face. There has not been and will never be a greater ESPYs than Norm Macdonald doing the monologue and actually cutting through all the mythological fame bullshit and actually going after people, going after the big, powerful celebrities in a way that the audience loved, and ESPN immediately ended and regretted and got him out of there, never to host it again. But he loved awkward. He was so good at awkward, and this is the thing that always impresses me, Stugotz, because the level of discerning among stand-up comics who are great is the highest form of critique or judgment, I think, in entertainment. And when they say someone's a good comedian, that person's a good comedian. Norm Macdonald is somebody who's getting reverence today from a lot of people, but other comedians will tell you what he did was really brilliant, was genius. We had our experience with him because he would tell these long, sprawling stories, and he told, most famously, a bad beat story that was just a killer because he was a gambler, but he was a bad gambler. And one of the reasons we wanted him as celebrity prognosticator is because he cared about it, but he was kind of a loser. And what says loser more than this bad beat?
One time I had a massive bet down. It was my last bet. I just said, I'll just bet all this. And then I got 2 aces. And and then I was like, I don't know if I have enough money, but can I get some credit, like from the casino to bet on this other ace? And they're like, no. And I'm like, does anyone else want to buy an ace? No, but everyone else there was betting small.
You were at a $5 table.
No, I don't like the. What the hell? I'm watching the draft.
What? Norm, what?
I was just watching the draft.
Okay. All right.
So, anyways, my 2 aces. I go, hit me. I have 2. You know what I mean? So I have to hit. So I have an ace and an ace. It's a 2. So I hit it.
Oh, no.
Because you couldn't split it. Here come the face cards.
12. Boom. 22.
Oh.
So So as obviously I would have had 221. Instead, I have 122.
Mike, I'm pretty sure I have this right. It was not draft day. It was like 6 months after the draft. Norm was doing that as an audio joke. Do you have a date on when that sound was from?
It was also in the morning. I mean,
he was not
watching an old draft
That's what
on one of the sport dedicated channels, either NBA TV or NFL
I
Network.
think he put it up as a prop. I think because he was on a sports show, he just wanted the interruption, the loudness, because he loved Awkward so much. We talked to him about the ESPYs. I'm telling you, there's never been a crueler or cooler monologue than the one this guy did at the ESPYs because of how uncomfortable he made an assortment of people.
who was most upset with you after that night?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Really?
Did he say something?
Yeah, they told me, like after the show, they were, there's this big party, and they were always like, all through the show, this party's going to be great. And then at the end, I go, where's that party? And they're like, I probably should just go back to the hotel.
That's how you learned that you were not invited to Ken Griffey Jr.'s party?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you remember most about that night? Is there one joke that you're particularly proud of? And you tend to be someone who doesn't, you don't do a lot of reveling in the past. You move on. But is there anything in particular that you are proud of there?
Well, Woodson won the Heisman that year.
It's a good joke.
And so I said, they can never take that away from you unless you kill your wife and a waiter.
It's so good, man. It's such a good joke. It really is. Stugotz, I was laughing because a lot of people were sending out video. He's funny across the decades. The bit that he did on Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, 10 days after his death, like walking the tightrope of too soon, but he did the joke so deftly, so well. He's like, imagine that. He died. Crocodile hunter. Killed by a fish. All the other crocodiles super mad. Like, did it deftly. I'm not doing it justice. The idea that he would be 10 days after someone's death. It was a beloved time.
Yes.
Everybody was still mourning that death, and he was able to do that.
Next up, TLS favorite Brad Williams.
Now, Dan, imagine what you just.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We are attempting to get David Sampson's audio fixed, and he will be with us in moments if we do get it fixed. In the interim, I wanted to ask you guys about some of the things happening in college football that I believe don't have a precedent, but you tell me if you think I have this wrong, because in a couple of places I was looking and I'm like, man, this doesn't seem normal that before Halloween you would have the following jobs come open at schools of some repute: Oklahoma State, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Arkansas, LSU, Penn State, Florida. That seems like a ton. Before, like in the middle of the season, buyouts, those are all, programs that coaches would want the jobs. And then the other story that I saw that I was like, none of that can be real, but it's real. LSU's governor is just saying, oh, no, the LSU AD is not picking the next coach. Absolutely not. He's not picking the next coach. While Ed Orgeron is talking to the morning show at ESPN, Unsportsmanlike, and saying, not only, I'll come back, I just got to go get my truck, I'll come back as Lane Kiffin's assistant if you want me to. Like, that seems like just total chaos, all of that, and we're halfway through the season. I have not seen, obviously you haven't seen that with the governor and Ed Orgeron, fresh off his championship, looking better all of a sudden now that they fired Brian Kelly. But that's an inordinate number of good jobs to have open, big programs.
Dano, when you say LSU's governor, you mean the governor of Louisiana is saying that?
Yes.
When you say governor, like an NBA mind, I think the owner, and then like LSU has a governor of the football program. Like, that's weird.
Well, and he also referenced, Dan, when the governor, when talking about why the AD is not going to make that choice, he referenced he's also the one who hired Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, and they had to pay him all that money. It's like, this guy sucks.
You have used sucks a great deal over the course of the first few minutes of this show. The governor's name, and it is the governor of Louisiana, is Jeff Landry, and the AD is Scott Woodward. And Scott Woodward's not responsible for the extension that has the buyout with Jimbo Fisher, but he is responsible for initially hiring Jimbo Fisher for an enormous amount of money.
That governor, by the way, great accent. Oh, my goodness. Look.
Come on.
Are you going to say thin ass?
Not only a great accent, Juju, it's exactly the way that I want my governor of Louisiana sounding, and it's exactly the quotes I want to hear him giving when he says, oh, the AD's not making this hire. I'm going to make this hire with a bunch of important people. I just have never seen that happen before. Have any of you seen it happen before where the governor of a state comes out and says, no, my program, not the athletic director's program?
I love it. I think this is a lot of fun in our homogenous society, ever more so. It's great. It's sort of like Brad Wesley in Roadhouse. He plays by his own set of laws. I'm going to call the cops. He owns them too. That's great. That makes it more fun, right? It turns it into a movie.
I know what homogenous means, but Chris was struggling with it. Can you break that down, bro?
No idea. I heard Amin say it a while ago and thought I would sound smart.
And I'm going to get richer.
I mean, Dan, you've never heard a governor talk. This is how the governor is talking about the current AD. Quote, we are not going down a failed path. And I want to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now, you won't even say him by name. The guy that's here now that wrote the contract cost Texas A&M $70-some million. Right now, we have a $53 million liability. We're not doing that again. And you know what? I believe we're going to find a great coach.
Well, that sounded more like Zaslow than it sounded like the Cajun accent of the governor of Louisiana. That just sounded like the way you say Thai food. I don't think you weren't very deep in character on the Louisiana accent there.
And I want to tell you something. It's a pattern.
No, but it's getting worse.
No, I was just emphasizing. I wasn't trying to do an accent. Just make sure everybody heard me.
Regionality is great. It's been taken away from college sports. It's why they mean more to the players than being a professional athlete. And we need to get back to that. And I'll go extreme. What this reminds me of is my old idea that you should only be able to recruit guys from your state. Let's see who the best state is in college football. Let's see who the best state is for basketball and so on. As these Olympics approach, what if the NFL required that only people the original 6 in the NHL for
Olympics
for 25 years. People talk about the original 6 as though it was a funny little chapter in sports. It was a quarter century. There were 6 teams, and the Canadians won the majority of the Stanley Cups. Why? Because you had negotiated.
There were 6 teams.
Well, but why then did the Rangers never win Stanley Cups? It's because you had negotiating rights with players within, I think, a 50-mile radius of city center, which is hysterical and fascinating. And I don't know how anybody ever went to games in New York, except for the novelty of it. But you knew you had no chance of ever winning. But setting that aside, yes, I would love a state Olympics. Let's do that. Let's see what is the best sports state. And at minimum, what if you did that with the NFL? That you could own Miami would do well. And so would Los Angeles. And yes, Amin.
Thank you, Dave. What Dave is talking about is from the olden days, the territorial pick. That's how the Royals, who moved from Rochester to Cincinnati, got Oscar Robertson. It wasn't because they were the worst team, whatever. It's because he lives here, so he goes there. Same thing with the Philadelphia Warriors getting Wilt Chamberlain. It's because he's from Philly, so he gets to play here. The idea was that you could drum up local support if the hometown kid is there. But we found out later on that's a dumb system, man. Let the players play anyway, man.
I can't be the only one who thought this. When I was a kid growing up, I thought that the teams, you had to be from that city to play on that team.
You're absolutely right. You are that dumb.
No one else thought that growing up?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. When you were growing up, did you think that the players from your local professional team had to all be from that city? Yes or no? As I'm looking in the corner of our show today and seeing this particular section of the Meadowlark Media Network, Le Batard and Friends Network, I don't believe that any entity that talks or makes things for a living has two people more different than Dave Dameshek of Football America and Juju Gotti Alley-Oop. I believe that between the two of them, we have two people who are wildly different, one of them perpetually referencing movies from the 1970s. It is not Juju. It is Dave Dameshek. If you want movies like Heaven Can Wait and other coverage of movies from the 70s, Football America, Monday and Fridays for you. Alley-Oop whenever important basketball things happen.
Tell me.
Roadhouse was almost released in the 90s, Dan. It wasn't the 70s. It was 1989. Please.
Dave, I'm going to need to get you some help, okay? One thing you need to stop doing is interrupting Amin. Another thing you have to stop doing is saying, Amin, here, you can talk now. Like, we'll handle that part, all right? Just allow us to handle the part where we're talking when we're supposed to talk.
I find it quite charming, actually.
I like it too.
Giving you permission to talk?
Yes, the gentleman across the aisle. I felt like I was in Congress.
Way more concerned about staying on the right side of Kash Patel. No offense, Dan.
He's not Kash Patel anymore. He's out of. You gotta keep up here with his costume changes.
I'm intrepid journalist Amin Al-Hassan, working on stories, uncovering truths with Pablo Torre, who's coming on later on the show. Thank you, Pablo.
Pablo is coming on later in the show. Have we lost David Sampson for good? We're trying to get his audio right. The Pablo Torre finds out has also been covering a lot that's Belichick related, and I just wanted to read you guys the quote from Belichick because one of the Pablo Torre finds out reports recently was doing a deep dive on Mike Lombardi that I think a lot of people are going to find super interesting. He's just doing stuff that nobody else is doing. And Belichick is objecting to a number of different things that are coming out about his team. And the quote that he's given here recently, he just lost in overtime to Virginia. Virginia's played 3 overtime games this season. Belichick lost going for a 2-point conversion at the end in overtime. Quote, I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to get clicks and views and posts on my face or whatever. But it's just a bunch of garbage, end quote. This is his move, right? To just call it my face all over, just to keep merging
dismissive, like
MySpace, FaceTime, Instagram. But I think that's the first time he's gone my face. I think he hasn't done InstaTalk, but he's done a number of them. I think my face is not something that's made an appearance before. Your thoughts, Zaslow, because you were at North Carolina.
Yep, I was waiting. I was listening, like hearing whispers of scandal. I didn't hear anything though.
I have an update from David, by the way. He wrote, "Everything is broken. Bleep it. I'm furious." Good vibes from David this morning.
I mean,
I feel bad. I saw him. He was struggling.
He's having a tough time. He's making time that he does not have for our show, and then he can't get his equipment to work. And he's just going through it in a way that's just unholy. I feel super bad for everything that's happening with David Sampson. You can check out Nothing Personal as he continues to work through really horrific heartbreak and pain because he really does care about his audience. I wanted to talk to you about the Phil Jackson news that came out yesterday where he was talking about, among other things, because he's selling a book here, and I don't know how much damage Phil Jackson did to his legacy at the end, but it is hard to go from winning as many championships as he did to being the guy who falls asleep on the subway and runs the Knicks into the ground, and they only get repaired after he leaves. And the quotes that were excerpted from his book are about how the relationship with Carmelo Anthony was totally unsalvageable, unfixable, and that he just decided to up and go because they couldn't get along.
Yeah, so the book, by the way, which is called Masters of the Game, a conversational history of the NBA in 75 legendary players. So it's not about his Knicks tenure, but the excerpts that have come out via the New York Post are obviously the Knick-related stuff. And it's disparaging to Carmelo. It's making it seem like the relationship was broken largely because of Carmelo. Carmelo, for his part, he thinks Phil Jackson is the reason why he didn't finish his career as a Knick. He said, I wanted to stay, and they pushed me out. Jim Dolan and the owner of the Knicks and Phil Jackson had a very specific conversation about we need to trade Carmelo Anthony if we're going to rebuild this thing. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's shocking. It's kind of what we kind of already assumed happened, but it's just a little bit more detail from Phil Jackson's perspective.
I was mentioning before, because Bill Simmons was super defensive on behalf of the legacy of Bill Belichick, and that Bill Belichick's legacy will not be impacted by this ending because history doesn't remember the punctuation. History remembers the statement before the punctuation, and Phil Jackson's legacy obviously is golden forevermore. But if you're someone like Phil Jackson or Bill Belichick who wants to keep working in his 70s, what good is a legacy being untarnished if you can't actually get jobs that you want anymore despite your legacy? Like, you can tell me it's not going to impact the way that you think about someone 100 years from now, but while they're living right now and they can't work in their business anymore because the ending is such a disgrace that Belichick can't work in the pros anymore, and that Phil Jackson couldn't get a job now if he wanted one.
That's why it is going to affect Belichick's legacy. That's exactly what, like, Phil Jackson could have kept coaching after the Lakers if he wanted, could have had any job he wanted. And matter of fact, when he wanted that Knicks front office job, he got it. Belichick can't get an NFL job.
I think both of them are proof that you can tarnish your legacy. Nothing is untarnishable if you F up as much as they did, right? With Phil Jackson, he could have kept coaching the Lakers. You know why he wasn't a coach at the Lakers or any other coaching job? Because Phil Jackson wanted to coach home games only. All right, bro, like, you got to know when to hang it up and step back at that point. He became a head of a front office with zero front office experience. He talks about, I didn't want to hire Derek Fisher. I wanted to hire Tony Bennett, but Tony Bennett wouldn't do it because his kid was in high school. I mean, buddy, that's the job. That's the job, but he didn't understand the job. So to me, it's a great corollary, Dan, between the two of them. The only way I think we remember them kindly, sadly, is after they're dead. But as long as they're alive, all we're going to remember is how it went down.
I think you guys are overstating the dent that this puts into Phil Jackson. The Knickerbockers are, to me, just an afterthought. I mean, he did it with the Bulls and the Lakers, as you know. Bill Belichick has really wrecked his legacy, in my opinion. It now stands to me, if on either side of Tom Brady, he was a mediocre coach, mildly successful, I guess, with the Browns, but in total, Belichick has really done some damage. And obviously, people want to genuflect to him, legend, and all of that. But the stuff with the woman is weird, and that also dents his legacy.
Let me ask you a question, Dave. Is it your opinion? I'm not talking about public opinion. Your opinion that Bill Belichick maybe wasn't that great of a coach?
That is exactly what I am saying. The magic of Tom Brady is hard to put your finger on what exactly he figured out about pro football that made him thrive and win over. I'm not saying Belichick was a passenger along for the ride, but he was really playing at the fringes when the bulk of the work was being carried by Tom Brady. Clearly.
Belichick coached in the NFL for 10 years minus Brady. One playoff win.
Yeah, but Brady wasn't coaching the defensive side of the ball, though. So, like, there has to be some sort of, like, all right, Belichick did something. It wasn't just Brady doing everything.
But
Brady's
Brady
on defensive meetings like, all right, guys, let's go.
But Brady then went somewhere else and won.
Brady's amazing.
Brady won a Super Bowl 13-3. That's not Brady winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah, like I feel like we're really oversimplifying kind of everyone's contributions, right? That first Super Bowl, when they beat the Rams.
One touchdown pass the entire postseason for Tom Brady that year that they won the Super Bowl.
Good stat from you.
He was just an incredible defensive mind. And They put together some solid offenses. Also, remember the Matt Castle year? Am I the only one who remembers the Matt Castle year?
When they didn't make the playoffs. Yes, I
come
do
on, what are you
remember
doing
that
there?
one.
The Dolphins year.
And absolutely, quarterbacks, when you have the man and he's still on his rookie deal, as has been discussed, you can really load up on defense, and that's what's going to carry the day. There have been a number of guys in the 21st century who are high-end QBs who won Super Bowls more because of the defense. Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, the first one against the Seahawks, and Tom Brady, that first Super Bowl against the Rams. Of course, that one is stained by the Spygate stuff, and there's Deflategate, and there are a number of, the TB12 stuff and everything else. I think there's all a stink on that entire Patriots era, as glorious as it was for Boston sports fans. I think it will loom and does. It's not what's going to be in 100 years. Right now, it has a stink on it.
Tony finds out what gave me 30 seconds of him talking. He's biased. He's absolutely biased as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Talking about stuff from 2003, 2004, when you were in the running for making Super Bowls. Dude, I hear it. That's it. Tony found out. Dave Damashek, bias.
What Dave Damashek is saying is that Bill Belichick should have checked himself before he wrecked himself. And you can bet on that.
I don't think that's what I was saying.
Your signature line. You have said, though, you have declared that the legacy is indeed wrecked. And I just don't know what value a legacy has if it's not going to be wrecked 10 years from now. But right now, when you want things that cash in on your legacy, you're
Someone
not
say cash?
someone who can actually cash in on your legacy.
Cash Patel Hassan is what my name is. Dan, the reality is, I think you just hit the nail on the head. And let me take this off so I can differentiate that I'm not Cash Patel Hassan right now. I'm Mino Hassan. The reality is, legacies
loud jacket.
don't matter. They don't matter if they only come posthumously, right? Pete Rose, if he goes into the Hall of Fame, like, who cares? He didn't get to enjoy that. And that's really what it's all about. And that's why I think it is something that you need to be cognizant of as you're an older individual in sports, is not doing things that have the potential to ruin it. I think Phil Jackson, it's not just the failures with the Knicks, Dave. It's also like the LeBron's posse stuff. It's like a lot of out-of-touch kind of old generation white guy stuff that he said that kind of really mucked it up. If he had just been a failure, a great example is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, by all accounts, was a failure as a basketball executive and as a basketball owner. He's still Michael fucking Jordan, though. So, like, when it's insights to excellence, I'm there. Phil Jackson can't have an insights to excellence segment on national TV because everyone's going to be like, ain't that the dude that was saying that LeBron just has his boys around and that's it? So that's the part that I think is the corollary with Belichick. I think Belichick's failure is one thing. I think the bigger thing is, like, you're making an ass out of yourself with this girl and all that stuff, and that's the part that really threatens it. If he was just merely like, oh, he's not winning anymore, I think that wouldn't be quite as crazy. Another example, I know I'm rambling here, but I was thinking about Larry Brown. Larry Brown, Hall of Fame career, legacy of jumping from city to city coach. Like, his last couple of jobs were all in college, and, like, he coached a high school team. But it's Larry Brown. Nobody
He
says
loves basketball.
He loves exactly.
Loves
That's all that comes out. Like, Larry Brown loves basketball. He wasn't wildly successful towards the end of his career. We just give him that grace. I think it's the scandal portion of it that does a lot of the tarnishing.
Well, but one of the things that Damashek is saying here that I do think sort of bears repeating, Phil Jackson is 11 championships. Like, it's not 7 with one quarterback. It's 11 championships.
2 different places.
11 championships, ladies and gentlemen, with Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant. And it wasn't the same quarterback the whole time. It was still Hall of Fame, elite talent. And don't get it twisted. And Dan Le Batard, you of all people, should remember, coaches, if you don't have players, what are we talking about? This is talent-driven business.
Okay, but hold on. Like, he got to the Lakers and took over a team that had Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. They weren't any good.
They hadn't won.
They weren't any good. They won 57 games.
They hadn't won the championship.
Oh, wow, they hadn't won a championship. Like, look, guys, you can't do that. You can't act like they were like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? How do we play basketball? And Phil Jackson comes in and says, give it to the big guy. What a genius! We never would have figured that out. Look, I'm not trying to discount his contributions. What I'm trying to do actually is the same thing for Belichick. It's like, yes, these guys put great talents in positions to be successful, but we cannot just throw away the idea that they had great talent to begin
All right, well,
with.
let me do this with you guys then and just do a thought experiment with you, because you mentioned Larry Brown, and obviously that Pistons team responsible for one of the great upsets in basketball over Shaq and Kobe. That was a team
And
that
Phil.
didn't have a star, and so Larry Brown gets forever credentials based on winning something that had Chauncey Billups or Ben Wallace as the best player on the team. When I ask you, give me the coach with the greatest pedigree of championships,
Joe Gibbs,
who has done it with an assortment of talent that you would not consider great talent, who's the top of the pyramid, who doesn't do it with the Michael Jordans and Shaqs, where you're winning multiple championships, because Larry Brown is one championship, but you're winning. That's a good one. Joe Gibbs is a good one, because
Bob Knight.
Well, he had
Spoelstra.
Isaiah Thomas, right? Like I don't think anyone, Larry Brown is going to be somebody who obviously goes to the top of this list in terms of winning without a superstar player. But when we talk about multiple championships or a coach that has an unimpeachable record, because you're looking at that coach and saying, well, I don't know how he did it with multiple teams and not Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Rick Carlisle.
I was just about to say that one. That's a great one.
Dirk Nowitzki would like a word.
Yeah, but he was old at that point.
He wasn't that old.
He was kind of old.
He wasn't kind of
He did
old.
it with J.J. Barea
That's
backing
a
down
good
LeBron.
nominee.
He did it last year with the Pacers that no one likes.
I thought we
Game
talked about
7.
championships. My bad. If
But
we
they were on the precipice of one.
Well, I was actually asking about multiple championships, right? I was
Whitey
asking.
Ford. I'm sorry. Whitey Ford. Whitey Herzog. Sorry. I got my old baseball player.
He got his Whiteys
Old
mixed
Whiteys
up.
mixed up. Okay, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm going to have to do this again
Oh, no.
to you. Yeah,
Again?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, leading the league in penalty.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for tripping the entire show.
You can't get your Whiteys wrong. Get your Whiteys right. You're supposed to be an expert. Look at you. You got to be an expert in Whitey.
Dave, your Whiteys need to be more tidy.
Kicking yourself out?
Kick him out, too.
He's going too.
No, he's taking him. He's taking him to
There
the
we
penalty box as Cash Patel. Look at
What happened here?
Sasla. What happened to your headset? What happened to your helmet? Why are you falling apart physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
Listen, being a race car driver, it's not as easy as it looks.
I didn't know you were bald, brother.
Juju, I told you those costumes are harder to do. He's going to be exhausted by the time he leaves here. You keep telling me I'm tone deaf because I said that I get headaches whenever it is that I have to wear the costumes. In my meager defense, by the way, because many of you have pointed out, really, Le Batard, you got a headache because you wore a suit. The headache was because I was wearing those Bad Bunny glasses and trying to read with them, and I can't, and my eyesight is bad, and so when I was trying to read, I was having all sorts of problems. And also the Bad Bunny gloves made it so that I whispered to Lewis, and it went out over the air, get me the Brian Kelly dancing video. Because the gloves.
So you pressed the wrong button because of the glove.
No, it was fat. My glove finger was fat, and it
gotcha.
didn't press the button, the talkback correctly. And it's one of the many things that gave me a headache. So I'm making an assortment of excuses, but it is harder, correct, than you would think it is. You're going to be more tired. Where are you going this weekend as part of your college football coverage?
I have a really busy day today, too, because I'm on ESPN tonight also, and I can feel the headache coming on because of this helmet and the weird earplugs that I'm wearing. Tomorrow, I'm going to Jacksonville, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Florida, Georgia. I'm very excited about that.
I don't want to make this easier, but I would be fine if you held it under your arm the whole time, because that's how I picture a race car driver. They have the helmet under their arm. No? Helmet on the whole time? What do you guys think?
Whatever, man. Like, I'm all right for now. Don't worry about me.
What are your thoughts about the SEC that I believe has been exposed in recent weeks and is being carried by Texas A&M, which is clearly good, but Texas A&M wasn't what we were expecting to be at the top of that conference. We were expecting Georgia to look more like Georgia, Alabama to look more like Alabama, and you've got Vanderbilt and Missouri able to beat those schools, able to play close games against those schools. And last weekend, because Texas really labored and barely
they're
won.
not good.
And they're just not good. We're just saying flatly that Texas is not good.
They're not good.
Texas ends up laboring, and Georgia or Alabama ends up laboring when you're talking about South Carolina and Mississippi State. Those are supposed to be the doormats in the conference.
Yeah, South Carolina stinks. Mississippi State's sneaky decent team, even though they have not won a conference game in 2 years. I know it sounds stupid, but like,
wait a minute. Can you be? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can you be a sneaky decent team when you haven't won a conference game
2 years?
in 2 years?
He's right about that though. Like they're always in the mix. They're always like playing. It's like, oh, they're only down 7 to Tennessee.
Dan, look at these. They lost in overtime to Texas last week. They lost by 2 to Florida on a late interception the week before. And a couple weeks before that, they lost in overtime to Tennessee. Like, I'm telling you, Dan, they're a sneaky decent team, Mississippi State.
Zaslow, listen to me.
You know about Starkville?
Billy Napier got fired for the indignity of playing a close game against Mississippi State.
They were going to the bye, Dan. Timing was perfect.
You know, he's the third coach in the last 5 years to get fired after beating Mississippi State. Like, usually you don't get fired after a win. 2 of them, it was Jimbo Fisher, Billy Napier. The other one was the end of a season.
Well, it's going to happen.
So that one's a little bit of a cheat.
But
it happened 3 times after beating Mississippi State.
But that's not sneaky decent. That's a team that hasn't won a conference game in 2 years and has gotten 3 coaches fired for playing close games against them, not losing to them.
I'm not retracting. I'm sticking with it. Sneaky. You can put that on my tombstone. Mississippi State, 2025, sneaky decent team.
Why would you want that on your tombstone?
Because I own that take.
but
that's fresh.
But why would anybody want that on?
You know what? Hang on a second. Mississippi State, sneaky decent team. Copyright.
Only thing that doesn't suck, apparently, according to Zaz. Mississippi State.
I'm trying to expand my vocabulary. All right.
All right. Let's cover this. Just to be clear, Derek Jeter sucks.
Oh my God.
Mississippi State, decent.
Sneaky.
Phil Jackson sucks. Mississippi State, decent.
Sneaky.
What was the other thing that you said sucked? You said something else sucked. I think there were 3 sucks.
The helmet.
I mean, definitely yesterday I told you Charlotte Hornets suck.
Well, they do. They do. That is quite the miracle, though, that Michael Jordan did pull off, being the owner of the Hornets, who haven't won a playoff game in 10 years and a playoff series in more than 20. No effect to the legacy. None whatsoever. You're overseeing what is a cataclysmic effort by your basketball team. Half the teams make the playoffs. The salary cap and equality reward that when you're bad, you get good. Not Michael Jordan, but he gets insights into excellence, even though he hasn't sniffed them in more than 25 years.
He's excellent. And I'm not going to stand here and have you just disparage the good name of the greatest to ever lace them up. Okay.
I have to jump in here
better
to
not.
announce this. Michael Jordan, the all-time greatest of his sport. Mario Lemieux, though, stands as the most significant figure to one franchise in North American sports history because, as opposed to Michael Jordan, as soon as he retired, he saved the franchise by then purchasing the franchise and then winning 3 more Stanley Cups. And when they needed him to do it, he put the sweater back on and returned to the ice. There has never been anyone more significant than that. However, let me just say, Michael Jordan, that was a different job. He was a player, then he became an exec. Are we dinging Tom Brady from going from football player to broadcaster / executive? I think we kind of are getting to that place, right?
To that note, we never talk about Tom Brady and the Raiders. What happened? What happened there?
It's coming.
I thought everything gonna be different now. You're gonna fix everything. You're gonna save everything. Tom Brady, you're a genius. What happened? We don't even mention it. We don't even bring it up.
Mississippi State is 14th out of 16 teams in the SEC.
I'm glad you didn't say sneaky decent. You would owe me some money.
On your tombstone.
That's how copyright works, Dan.
Well, copyright. You guys just yell it first. Copyright.
On your tombstone.
I'll tell you what, they're going to win this week. They're going to beat Arkansas. First conference win, 2 years. And then you're all going to be like, wow, that's Zaslow. He had it first. That's right, I did.
they didn't win a conference game with Mike Leach before he passed away, or was he the last? Was he the last winner of a conference game there? Because when Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach went to the SEC, God, this seems like a charming, quaint time a million years ago. But before Oklahoma and Texas went to the SEC, brought all their reputation to the SEC, and now the SEC kind of stinks. Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin went to the SEC, and those are perfect jobs for those guys because there are no expectations. Like, what a great job for Lane Kiffin that he's just as good as some of those teams at the top of that conference, and we're giving him and assigning him all the credit for beating teams that aren't that good because anytime they win a game on the road, we're giving Lane Kiffin all of the credit for having at the quarterback position, one of the great names in all of sports, Trinidad Chambliss.
In 2023, Dan, Mississippi State won at Arkansas 7-3. They're going to beat Arkansas again this weekend.
Wait a minute. So the last win by the sneaky decent Mississippi State was a 7-3 win against Arkansas, and you won on your tombstone the copyrighted knowledge that they are a sneaky, decent team.
That's right. No one's going to be laughing when they get that first SEC win this weekend. Be like, wow, Zaslow, thanks for the hot tip. You're welcome.
Zaz, how you feel about the Florida Gators going against the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend? Do they have a chance?
I think they're going to keep it close in the first half. It could get away from them in the second half. Gators defense elite. All right, but, boy, they're not good this year.
How good,
maybe they play for their new coach. I don't know.
How good is Texas A&M, though? Because for all of this money being spent on coaches and buyouts, what does it tell you when Mike Elko is sneaking in there and he's nobody's favorite coach? But clearly, Texas A&M is the best team in that conference. There's not a dispute about that, is there? Like we've all been kind of unimpressed by whatever it is that Alabama and Georgia are now, even though they could both be playoff teams. Nobody has been impressed by how it is any of those schools look, and everyone's been impressed by what Texas A&M is.
Well, the irony with college sports has become that the way to close the gap on the heavyweights is with NIL, which is sort of the opposite of why baseball has the Dodgers so hated because they spend more than everybody else. The sneaky fact with Lane Kiffin and Curt Cignetti and otherwise is they've closed the gap. By the way, Curt Cignetti, a good name to add to your list of coaches who win without stars, but they both kind of are able to add stars that they wouldn't have been able to get a decade ago because of the NIL age.
I don't think there's any reason to pay the coach like that anymore. Like these buyouts and the coaches, you don't have to pay them like that if you're going to just give somebody. If Andrew Luck's going to come to your program and bring you a donor who says, I'll give you $50 million, as he's done, isn't that what you want more than anything? Like if I say to anyone listening to this, what do you want right now? Given what you've seen from Brian Kelly and James Franklin, and given that the top of the sport now has Cignetti and Mike Elko in it, if I say to you, what would you rather have? I guess Nick Saban would be an outlier here because most people are just going to say, I'd rather have Nick Saban.
Kirby Smart, too.
What would I rather have? Would I rather have somebody who simply brings me $50 million donor by virtue of running my athletic department, or do I want the coach who's going to be whatever, leadership guy that creates a program, but I'm guaranteed nothing? I mean, these buyouts, what are some of the numbers being thrown out on just the buyout figures that we've had this year in the amount of money that's being paid to coaches to not coach?
Between three guys, been $170 million that have been fired. And then obviously with that, that's $250 million.
But you can spend that money so much better if I were just to say, you know what, I'm just going to have somebody who oversees this and is somebody who raises money, and I'll have my coordinators handle it, and I'll spend the money on players. I'd rather spend it on players. In the pros, you wouldn't be telling me to go spend the money on the coach. You'd be telling me to spend the money on the players.
The previous record for buyouts combined in a season was $118 million, and we've already hit $170 million, to Tony's point, with 3 months left in the season.
But then what you're describing is, again, the professionalization of college football, right? Which is when you don't have to spend on the labor, I got all this extra money. So, yeah, I'm going to spend on Nick Saban and all these guys. But as you point out in the NFL, I got to spend on labor. I only got so much I can spend on coaching, and that's what's happening. So now that the labor's getting money, you don't need to pay as much to the coaches.
What an interesting thing to live through, like just to watch it happen. Like it wasn't that long ago that Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing for The Athletic about, or no, it wasn't Ta-Nehisi Coates. That was about reparations.
What did he say?
You understand how I make the connection between injustices, but where they were just talking about how ridiculous it is that the NCAA had the rule system that it has in place, and everything is caved in the last 5 years.
I'm all over Mississippi State +4.
Hey, what's up, Le Batard fans? It's your girl, Roz Goldenwood at the Good Follow Show. And this week, we are talking about the WNBA has a whole bunch of new head coaches and hires. We're going to evaluate them and break them down. And we've got a new game alert. Build a New York Liberty head coach. Because at the time of taping, the New York Liberty have still not named a head coach. And this week, Autumn Johnson joins the show. She's going to help us break down all of our thoughts on women's college basketball coming up. Season starts soon. So you can catch Good Follow Tuesdays and Thursdays wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Make sure you pull up. We'd love to see you there. Hey, what's up, Le Batard fans? It's your girl, Roz Goldenwood.
DLS favorite, Brad Williams.
Now, Dan, imagine what you just experienced being a 6-foot whatever man. Now put that in a 4-foot man as I'm trying to cross the street last night, looking at certain puddles going, this could be it. This could be where I go because the water was moving very fast. I forgot my floaties. I can't swim. I have a very large head that sinks. I have a very fat butt that floats. That's not good for swimming. I'm very nervous. Florida is not a good climate for me.
He instantly goes upside down.
I do. I turn into a fly girl in a club, just face down, ass up. Like, that's me. Instantly in a puddle. Here lies Brad, killed by puddle. That could happen.
Brad Williams makes me laugh all the time, but rarely as much as when he's greeting Mike Golick and they are doing that shoulder handshake, and Mike Golick has to get down and Brad Williams has to climb up. Why didn't you just go in for a straight handshake
because
to say hello?
Because then I nut tap him. Because if I go straight handshake, there's the possibility. And by the way, how much, Gojo, were you just holding back? 'Cause you're like, if I go full shoulder into this guy, he may evaporate into Skittles.
I was more thinking on if I went to pull in, because we went the dap with the hug.
Yeah.
And so there's that pull in the middle, and I was like, are we going to airlift Brad right now? Is this going to end up being like a swinging situation?
Did you go football mentality, low man wins, I'm not going to let this guy beat me.
That is true. I thought about just getting all the way down.
You got down pretty low. I thought you were going to throw out your back.
I was Jason Kelsey tush push stats, trying to get down on all fours there. It was good.
And now I'm realizing that I missed my calling as an O lineman.
God, could you
Low
imagine?
man wins.
The Brad Williams led tush push, unstoppable.
Well, not only was it funny because visually that was funny, you were also interrupting a story of Brad Williams kicking a one-legged man out of his last show. That's the story that you interrupted.
I did. I did. There is no love lost between people who share parking in the handicapped space. He was gone. Get out of my show, sir.
Now, did you know he was one-legged before you kicked him out?
I did not. I did not.
So when he gets up.
I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and where all the one-legged people hang out. And the guy was talking way too much. And it's the worst kind of heckler to me. I will gladly take a heckler that yells out "F you" more than a guy that loves me but is just talking too loud and commenting on every joke and be like, "That's so true when you did that." Like, God damn it.
Oh, that's a great joke, Brad Williams.
Yeah,
it's a great joke.
You're killing it, Brad.
That's what I'm doing. It's like he's encouraging me, but it's like your mom clapping too loud in the stands. Like, "Mom, shut up! I can do this." And so I talked to him. He's like, "Hey, I paid good money to get in here," and I like, "Dude, you gotta shut up." And I finally had to kick him out. So he stands up and he does the walk, and when he walks, the pant leg goes up, and I see the shiny metal underneath, and I'm like, oh no, no, and I kind of, and then because I can't filter thoughts, I go, you have one leg, sir.
Oh, so you just decided to play with the cards up.
Let's go. And then he turns and goes, yep. And I was like, am I kicking out a soldier? Did you serve? And he goes, nah, car accident. And I'm like, okay, get like, if it's a soldier, then yeah. But I actually kept talking to him, and then because I felt bad, I invited him back. And he sat down, and we proceeded with the show. But then it just kept going. He got his second chance to the point where now I see the faces of the people around him being uncomfortable, and I'm like, all right, well now you. So I kicked him out again. No, I kicked him out again, and he gave me the whole like, well, do you know how much I paid for these tickets? And I go, an arm and a leg.
It's time for Vegas legend Carrot Top.
The man is a legend, and he's a legend in Vegas where it's hard to be a legend. I've seen him. His face is ID to get into all the big places. And he's also, though, he's a Florida guy as well, and I think he should be a Panther fan because he grew up in Boca. So I don't know where he is, but I believe he's bigger than Wayne Newton now. He's more Vegas than Wayne Newton, and I'm not joking when I say comedy legend for 40 bleeping years. 40 bleeping years and still doing it 4 times a night. In Vegas, you, Carrot Top, Mr. Top, are rooting for who in this series?
You can't say 40 bleeping years. It just doesn't sound cool. You know, you got to say 40 years. But it's going to be really rough. This might be the hardest decision of my life, being from Boca. I think I performed at the Sunrise Musical Theater when I was young. But my roots, I mean, I'm in Vegas. They're listening to me right now. I'm here in Las Vegas, and it's tough. I got to be honest. I think my heart is a little more for Las Vegas.
What?
No! I know.
No!
I'm here
you
every night.
sell out. You sell out.
Are you cranking it before the game?
Yeah. You mean like drugs?
No, I mean the thing where you crank it and you get everybody hyped.
Hey, are you cranking it before? Yeah, man. No.
Have you ever cranked it?
Yes, they have. That's a personal question, but yes, I have cranked it. They gave me that twice. I've done it twice, and apparently Wayne Newton has beaten me by one crank. So
you gotta get.
I was watching. I was at game 2, and I was watching.
I've got to catch up on crank. I got to catch up on a crank.
David Sampson was truly enraged that none of his equipment worked. David Sampson lost his sense of taste and smell during the pandemic. But before he lost his sense of taste and smell, he was somebody who I was always mocking because he likes black licorice. Chris Cody met someone the other day who identified their favorite candy as Almond Joy, and that's not a person who can be trusted. Like, that's not a person who can be trusted.
I don't think I've ever had an Almond Joy.
You are so strange.
Whatever, man.
Every time we talk about anything,
get him an
here,
Almond Joy.
Get him an olive.
I haven't had one either.
Get him an
get a couple of them.
I too would like to try. You call it Almond Joy? Is it?
Yes, an Almond Joy.
By the way, and you say I met them. They're in our midst. It's someone that works here. They're off air, but they said it, and I was just like, that's crazy.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can you trust someone who mentions Almond Joy as their favorite? It can't be your favorite.
Right. Almond Joy is very good, but I resent it because it only comes in milk chocolate versus Mounds, which is dark chocolate. Now give me the almond inside the Mound. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't.
None of that was weird. Me never trying Almond Joy.
No, I'm just saying that you keep saying the things that you have never tried. It's a long list so far. You're not a very adventurous eater.
I know what I can look at something. I know what I like. I know I could see it. I'm like, I don't like that. I know.
Chocolate almonds, you think is something you wouldn't like?
No, but there's something else in it too. It's not just
it's coconut.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's
See?
Mounds.
I knew. I don't
That's
like
Mounds.
that.
Mounds is the coconut. Almond Joy, no coconut.
But Almond Joy has coconut too. It also has an almond in it. The distinction is the milk chocolate versus dark, almond versus no almond. Please keep up with me.
As I said, I've never had one. Can I? It's pronounced joy? Almond joy?
Pablo Torre has another Pablo Torre Finds Out exclusive. We have been making fun of the fact that he seems to have modulated and pixelated somebody who has been telling that same story without
Pablo Montague.
without the modulation.
We have important stuff to do here. He just got an Almond Joy.
Or the pixelation. You're going to try it? Okay, hold on a second, Pablo. We'll get to your reporting in just a second.
Coconut and almond chocolate candy bar, Tony. Coconut.
Told you. Do you like coconut?
Not really.
Pablo, do you have any opinions on this as we wait for this?
Yeah, I'm a Raisinets guy, personally.
Strong. Sneaky strong candy.
As your favorite?
Yes, #1 draft pick.
Ooh, I don't know
By
about
the way,
that.
by the way, can I? Have you guys talked about gooning yet? Have you guys done that conversation?
What
Gooning?
are you doing here? What are you trying to do around here, buddy? This is a family program.
I don't know if that means what you think it means.
I don't think you're using that correctly.
No, he's
Chris.
using it right. He's using it right.
I don't think I couldn't tell if Chris was hitting the sound for Zaz or for me, because in my case, the gooning I'm referring to is truly like there's a rainbow coalition of people who are gooning. Gooning. Can someone explain to Chris what gooning is, so I don't have to do that?
Yeah, it's not what you think it is.
It's more just the way you sound saying it, like rather than what it actually means.
Pablo.
Okay,
I can
so hold
explain
on.
it to
Chris, Cody's lecturing me on sounding white. Proceed, I mean.
Yeah.
It's when you're a really, really big fan of the Houston Rockets and Alper Şengün in
the
particular.
Gooner.
The Gooner. When you're really
Turkish
into
delight.
that, you're like, hey, you guys want to go goon? That means like you're going to go watch Alper Şengün do amazing
no.
things.
And everybody's like, yeah, let's goon together.
Nope.
Sometimes you watch the films.
Zaz found something out, didn't he?
You
He
can-
found out he was wrong about the Almond Joy.
I'm going to tell you something, Dave Damashek. I'm glad you mentioned that. Almond Joy, that's good candy bar.
Really?
You like
Doesn't
coconut?
suck. Mississippi State and the Almond Joy.
That's a good coconut. I like that.
Can I explain why I'm talking about gooning in
bring
the
me another.
context of Zaz reviewing that?
That would
candy
be
bar?
great because I've gotten lost in the weeds here on Chris Cody not knowing what gooning meant and me not really understanding why
Right.
it is that you're using gooning in this way.
It's a fair question. Gooning is the process of like edging without letting yourself come to a release. It's a thing that Harper's Magazine wrote. Okay, I deserve the sounder for that. It's a pretty wide reference. Harper's Magazine wrote about gooning.
Harper's
this week.
Magazine wrote about gooning. Is it Zach Harper's Magazine?
I don't know that fool.
Somehow, one of the oldest publications has a sensibility of Zach Harper, this week at least. The reason I say that is because Dan, who's judging everyone's like food predilections, but does not eat any of this stuff himself anymore, is like a food gooner. He's just like watching everyone else eat this stuff, but he cannot let himself actually enjoy and come to that
I
finale.
didn't think I would find something more objectionable than learning that someone in our midst thinks that Almond Joy is the best of all the candies. But to choose Raisinets is just crazy. Like to choose
what's wrong with Raisinets?
the chocolate raisin is the best of all the candies. You can't know another person who would say that. There's not another person you know that says that.
That's the opinion of a man whose brain has been addled by his food gooning. I regularly enjoy all of these selections. You merely remember what it used to be.
I loved
loved
Raisinets. I just don't know. I've never met anybody who would say that that's the greatest of the candies. It's not even the greatest of the movie theater candies.
What do you go on movie theater wise?
A bunch of Crunch. It's easy.
Reese's Pieces. Come on.
Zaz. Yep.
Pickles.
Y'all
Come
making
on.
too hard on this one. Snickers with almonds in them. Come on.
At Le Batard Show, do you know anybody who would choose Raisinets as their favorite candy? And also put on the Le Batard Show poll, do you know anybody who would choose Almond Joy as the favorite of their candies? Getting back to Pablo Torre Finds Out and some of your very thorough reporting again. More than 20 sources, again, thousands of documents, again, months of research. You've gone into the thicket. You know some things, I think, that not even the FBI knows. I might guess that you have some information that is not widely known. What did you think were the most interesting parts of the tale that you spun today?
So I'll lead with the sort of big picture macro concern the NBA should have, which is that we talked to two Congress people, one member of the House of Representatives, Yvette Clarke, Democrat from New York, the other one, Brian Schatz, the Democratic senator from Hawaii. And what they say is that they actively plan to make Adam Silver testify in front of Congress to give answers to hard questions about what the NBA knew and when they knew it, which might be relevant, I dare say, to the NBA team that is across the street from your studio. They want to know, did the NBA actually investigate this? Did they know anything about what the FBI wound up finding? And what does it mean if they did or didn't? That is something that they really do want to take seriously. And of course, sports is always like political theater. But in this case, the argument has, I think, real ramifications for one of the last places in American life that has to pretend that rules matter. So Congress, Capitol Hill, is coming for the NBA in terms of holding them to an accountability that few others, I think, have the powers to do, journalists like myself, unfortunately included. That's kind of the ultimate check on sports, is them taking interest in that. And so I begin with that part because I think the Heat, with the Terry Rozier scenario, which we report on extensively, and by the way, Amin, who's there somewhere, Amin is my running mate in this episode, and he is wearing ridiculous sunglasses for most of the episode, in case you were wondering, how is Amin going to bring his gravitas to the proceedings? It's by wearing insane reflective sunglasses. Yeah, all of this is exhaustive and real and should be a concern.
I'm super surprised that you chose politics in Congress as the most interesting thing in your pod. I didn't think that that was the most interesting thing. Not to say it's not interesting. I'm just surprised that that's what you chose.
Oh, the reason I choose it, though, is because I guess I'm sort of like accountability brained. I have had the experience reporting these stories where I can give you chapter and verse on the fact that Ty Lue is a recurring character in this story in ways that have been not yet disclosed until this episode. I can tell you that we have footage at the World Series of Poker in which Ty Lue is watching a friend of his have a great victory while sitting on the rail, the equivalent of courtside at a playoff game at the World Series of Poker last year. And the guy who was sitting next to him celebrating their mutual friendship with this poker player is Damon Jones. I can tell you that Ty Lue is a recurring character at the Aria High Limit Bar alongside Damon Jones. And by the way, Damon Jones calls Ty Lue his best friend. I will give you one guess as to who Ty Lue says is his best friend, because it's not Damon Jones, it is Chauncey Billups. And Ty Lue happened to hire both of those guys to his staffs when he got head jobs in the NBA. Ty Lue also was there at the April 2019 allegedly rigged poker game where Chauncey Billups was not merely the whale at the table, but according to the federal indictment, someone who was cooperating as a member of the cheating team with effectively some of the most unsavory characters to occur in the history of sports and scandal. And so there's that. There's just like that part. And we requested comment from the Clippers a week ago. They have not responded to our request. So that's another part of it that I think is probably worth mentioning, because we don't know exactly the depth of Ty Lue's involvement. I'd love to continue to find that out. But, you know, I go to accountability. Like, what does any of this matter? You know, and I think you need some sort of like actual thing that puts some accountability into the proceedings.
Dan, and this might be my first one, but I happen to know something.
What?
He happens to know? Great Scott, he happens to know. He happens to know. Gather everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
I have it from incredible sources that Ty Lue is the best gambler in the NBA. Hands down, coaches, players, anything that you can think of in a competition setting, Ty Lue is the champion.
The best or the biggest? Like
the best.
That he wins all the time?
That he wins. That he knows what he's doing and continues to win.
This is the same journalism, right?
Can you give me, Pablo, a ruling? We were having an argument before. I said Ty Lue is now ensnared in this by Pablo Torre finds out, and Tony said he's merely adjacent. Who's closer to correct? Me saying ensnared or Tony saying adjacent?
Ooh, that's a great vocabulary challenge. I don't think he is ensnared, and I don't think he is adjacent. I think he was present. He was in the room. He was, what's a fun legal sounding word for you were there and your best friend has been indicted by the FBI and the federal government. And the question is whether you were aware of any of the proceedings there. You were...
in the room where it happened from the Hamilton play, if you're going to be highfalutin about it.
You were around.
We call that a character witness, Dano.
That sounds like adjacent. Around sounds like adjacent. It sounds like you're siding with Tony.
Hold on. Adjacent's kind of like there's a room in which this. Well, actually, there were multiple games going on. I should say that Ty Lue didn't play in the game that Chauncey Billups was allegedly cheating, but he showed up and was marketed to people to play in the game because hey, Chauncey and Ty Lue are coming through. God, am I gonna agree with Tony as to like the geographic
Talk to me, buddy. Talk to me.
Of Ty Lue? No, he was. He's
looking for it. It's adjacent. He's looking for it.
He doesn't want to agree with you.
I really don't want to.
Buddy, I started listening to your episodes. I love all the NBA episodes that you do. I've been your biggest proponent. I've figured out a couple things about you, but we'll have that offline.
What does that mean?
I find things out.
What does that mean?
So you take a lot of time to figure things out. I take very short time to figure.
What do you make of the Clippers not even returning?
You're the opposite of a gooner in that regard.
Exactly right. I'm a finisher.
What do you make
right to the point
of the Clippers not even bothering to return your messages this time?
I mean, part of me is just like, I get it. It's just not fun to get texts from me or my producers at this point for the Los Angeles Clippers. I will say, though, that I did not go looking for it. This is legitimately part of the story. I mean, Chauncey Billups, just to understand so Ty Lue lives in Vegas, right? He was an assistant on the Clippers coaching staff at the time that this was happening, the April 2019 game. Chauncey's next job, because Chauncey was working at ESPN at the time, April 2019, his next job that fall was to become a team broadcaster for the Clippers. His job after that was to get hired by Ty Lue as an assistant coach for the Clippers. And so, look, there's just, I think, a frustration, understandably, about whether it feels like I'm directly doing this because I just really want to feud with the Clippers. To quote one of the most inappropriate quotes in this context I can imagine, Plymouth Rock landed on me. I didn't go, it happened to me.
Pablo X?
I didn't.
Juju is disgusted with you right now. He's just I don't know that I've ever seen Juju quite this disappointed in somebody.
Yeah. It's Thanksgiving almost. I'm just thinking festively.
Pablo, are you ever tickled by the idea of people reacting negatively to you announcing we reached out and we didn't get a comment? Because I see a lot of this on Twitter. People are like, oh, what did he expect? I'm like, yeah, that's journalism, you dumbasses. You have to give them an opportunity to respond to the allegations.
Yeah. I reached out. Look, Kevin Garnett was mentioned to me, and we reported this as another face card. He showed up at a game in Los Angeles that was run by some of the same people who are mentioned in this indictment. We went out and reached out to Kevin Garnett, and a source close to Kevin Garnett clarified to me, and this is in the episode, that Kevin Garnett thought he was going to an after party and exited the poker game early. Right. So I'm like, I want to give everybody the opportunity to say what their version of the story is, because it's not me, as much as there has now been literally a cartoon of me hiding in a locker with a notepad. The problem with this NBA poker intersection, this Venn diagram, is that it's full of other people who are, of course, incredibly messy when it comes to sharing stories about the ways in which they believe they were scammed. And so it's just a bigger problem that's hard to contain in the poker world, by the way. To the question of what does Tony know and when did he know it? Ty Lue is very well known as a guy who loves poker. He's around the Aria High Limit Bar. These are, again, nothing wrong with that until the point at which your best friend gets caught up in something that is tied to La Cosa Nostra as a thing, that surprised me as well, frankly. I didn't go into this looking for that, but again, here we are.
Let's get people caught up, for those who do not know, who have not been following any of this very closely. Please first, for the people, and you can get this entire thicket of the innards of this scandal at Pablo Torre Finds Out. He has more information than anyone else doing mainstream reporting on this, or any kind of reporting that I've seen on this. First, tie the two things together. They're two different things, or they appear to be two different things that are put together in a way that don't fit, but you link them. It is the Terry Rozier betting scandal, and it is the Chauncey Billups rigged poker game scandal. Those seem to be different things. You tie them together. How?
Operation Royal Flush and Operation Nothing But Bet.
That's right. The roots of them, I mean, we reported pretty exhaustively, and I think it's worth going back and watching that episode if you have an extra hour today, by the way, the July episode that Amin and I did with Tom Haberstroh. We identified one of these characters, Amar Awade, and that guy is one of the key characters in this story. That is a dude who was infamously, now allegedly, I should say more specifically, allegedly cheating at poker. He's also one of the guys in the original Jonte Porter group chat. He was the guy, allegedly, that helped come up with the idea of, hey, Jonte Porter, one way to pay off your debts is feed us inside information so we can bet on your unders. Relatedly, the Jonte Porter group chat, the way that was allegedly orchestrated was through a guy named Shane Hennon, who set up a network of quote-unquote straw bettors, these other people around America, through whom they could make bets. Lots and lots of bets. So that's the Jonte Porter story. Shane Hennon, who is a real key character in this whole thing that we spend a lot of time on in this episode. July episode, Amar Awade, otherwise known per the federal government as Flappy and Flapper Poker. That guy is here in the indictment for the cheating at poker stuff. Shane Hennon, the guy who I just described to you, Sugar Shane Hennon, a guy who has his own long criminal history that is also frankly hilarious at times, and that's chronicled as well. That guy is the character named in both. He is named in both the NBA betting scandal indictment and in the rigged poker game scandal and indictment. And so the roots of this, right? When you're talking about those bets, when you're talking about the Ty Lue alleged inside information stuff, when you're talking about the Damon Jones alleged inside information stuff, when you're talking about the Terry Rozier alleged inside information stuff, when you're talking about the Chauncey Billups alleged inside information stuff, that is all being run through the same characters from the poker side of things. These are two separate indictments. What they are not is two separate stories. This is one messy, big-ass story in which the core of it are these characters that are being revealed as, connected to the Italian mafia, and who you might remember from the time Jonte Porter got banned for life. They're still here in this story.
That's a good cartoon. It's a good cartoon. You look sinister there. You look like you're up to no good. Kawhi looks confused. Steve Ballmer looks enraged. You look a little bit evil.
That's why they didn't text you back, bro. This picture right here.
Hard to blame you. I am worried, by the way. I am worried that I can't just call anyone anymore and just be like, hey, what's up?
Pablo, have you heard anything from the Heat? How they feel about this? Do they want their pick back? Do they feel that the Hornets screwed them? That the NBA screwed them? Do you know anything about how they feel?
So look, Barry Jackson at the Herald, as you guys know, he's been on top of that, right? So read what he's reporting. I would say the AP also had some good reporting on that in terms of how the NBA is sort of splitting the baby here. We're going to put this stuff into sort of an account instead of having to actually pay Rozier directly during this season. The stuff that I am fascinated by, though, that we report in this episode about the NBA's investigation into Terry Rozier, right? So to recap, Terry Rozier's attorney, a guy named Jim Trusty, who not coincidentally happens to be a former Trump attorney. That's part of the story here, too. What do you do when you're under indictment by the government? You try to go and perhaps get people who are connected to the White House. I digress. What Jim Trusty says is that the NBA cleared Terry Rozier, right? What the NBA, a league source at the league office, told us is that the NBA never stopped its investigation into Rozier. They just never found a smoking gun, using language that may be familiar to you in my previous aspiration investigation. So in other words, they did not find the smoking gun that would allow them to take action, but they never stopped investigating. They hired, in fact, I am told, a firm that is familiar to anybody who's followed my other reporting, a firm named Wachtell Lipton, right? And so what happens is not that they stop the investigation, according to the league office source we spoke to, but they merely just allow the federal government to take it from there. If I am the Miami Heat, a question that I have is, if your investigation never actually stopped, why did we, the Miami Heat, not know that there was an investigation in the first place?
That's what I'm saying.
Right? The illegal, allegedly illegal, unusual betting activity, March 23, 2023, I believe, that's a Terry Rozier game, where there was unusual betting activity. That game was flagged almost immediately by the gambling operators, and credit to them for doing it. The NBA was informed. The NBA opens the investigation. They do nothing. They allow Rozier to be traded for a first rounder and more, right? That's the story of the Heat. Simultaneously, the reason I started with the politics stuff is that the reason this became a problem was because the federal government, the DOJ, the FBI, the Eastern District of New York, they said, we're not letting up on this. We're going to continue to investigate. And the results of their investigation are in their indictments. The NBA's investigation, of course, sort of vaporized into nothing. And now everyone's trying to say what they did or did not know and when they did or did not know it, all of which is of interest to people who serve in Congress in Washington, D.C.
Barry Jackson tweeted this morning about Pablo's new Rozier reporting. It makes it all the more outrageous that the Heat wasn't told pre-trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real question for them to have, I dare say.
Pablo, going back to the Operation Royal Flush, one of the things I've thought about a lot since we recorded the episode is there a logical explanation, right? This isn't like the CBA where it has to be a rational explanation. Like this is, we're talking about criminal court here. So a logical explanation that Chauncey could have unwittingly been involved in this goings on?
So it's a great question. And there's something I didn't include in the episode, which I think we'll get to eventually when I drag Amin back into a studio to talk about this, perhaps. There is evidence that the federal government collected in which there is a group chat. Again, a lot of it is group chats. A lot of it's messy. A lot of it's like, just stuff that people wrote down at the time. And in those texts, you have coordination by the cheating team in that April 2019 game. And what they advise, for instance, is to watch Amar Awade, who's referred to as the Steph Curry of cheating at poker, in terms of how to signal and how to behave during the game. And so what the government at least is clear about is that they have evidence and they have talked to people who suggest that it is really, really hard, if not outright documentary, evidence-wise, impossible to claim, I should say, that you were playing in a rigged poker game in which you were winning hands that we report one specific hand for the poker degenerates out there. We report one specific hand that a guy who played against Chauncey in that April 2019 game lost on. That's framed as a 10 out of 10 on the suspicious scale. It's really hard to claim that you, Chauncey Billups, won that hand, played that hand as you did, and you didn't know that the game was rigged in your favor, allegedly. Likewise, there is just this coordination of all of these, the Shane Hennons and the Amar Awades who are there to buy the technology, right? We talked about the Deckmaster rig shuffling machine. We talk about the sunglasses, the marked cards, the sort of fake cell phones that you put at the table. As we put up the shot of the hand allegedly that Chauncey played, in which he had nothing, but the river card came in and he won that thing to a degree that haunted the person that he beat. It just feels like if you're playing with these people more than once and you're winning hands like this more than once, it's really hard to say that you were just a bystander, that you were merely around in that case. In that indictment, they make it very clear that he knew more than he would like to admit.
Counterpoint, allegedly. Could Chauncey's rebuttal be, I'm not a good poker player. I don't know what I'm doing. I just got lucky.
Or Austin Powers, I like to live dangerously.
Right.
Look, this is why I frame it in the way that I do. I want everyone's response. I want Chauncey Billups' attorney, which we quote, who we quote in the episode, to say, we're fighting this. Chauncey would never jeopardize his freedom on anything, let alone a game like poker, right? So he should be able to claim that on the record, and we quote him as such. I think that the more that he plays, and that is documented, and the more that he's playing with these people who are truly, on the evidence, shown to be unreliable narrators about whether or not they were rigging these games, there's a lot of evidence that suggests, at the very least, these people were doing that, some of which we have collected and we present to you. I just think it's extraordinarily unlikely that that would be a clubhouse leading theory as to how this all went down.
Tell me more and tell the listeners more about Sugar Shane Hennon.
I mean, the guy, Amin compared him in the episode to Carl Pilkington, I don't know if that means anything to anybody else in the room here, but that's dead on. I would say.
That's my gimmick.
He's a guy who has an exhaustive social media history. A lot of what we did for 3 months was just follow this guy on Instagram. And he is a guy, when you go down the rabbit hole with him, he says, like, I love LGBT. And then the meme is Latinas. What does it mean? What's
gambling,
the rest of it?
gambling,
oh, yeah.
tax evasion. Was it betting? Was B the
Oh,
betting?
yeah, it was Latinas, gambling, beer, and tax evasion. He's a pretty good follow, honestly, on that front. I'm like, that's pretty funny. So he's that kind of a guy. He films himself all of the time, it turns out, violating what appear to be the agreed upon legal rules on his supervised release. He's out on bail a lot. He has a history of both stabbing dudes in the neck at a pool hall back in Pennsylvania, as well as being literally, as we reveal in a table read with Amin, in which he gets to play the role of Sugar Shane Hennon. That's correct. Actually someone who has been an avowed government informant. And so the question is, like, where is this information coming from? Is it coming from me? It's not coming from me. One of the sources of information very clearly has been two of the people I would say that we've named already, whose text messages they have, whose iCloud they have access. And of course, that can be done merely through a warrant. But it seems like they have a depth of information with these people and their cell phones and their group chats that suggests that they were getting information, according to the documentary evidence that we are pointing to, from some of the people who have previously cooperated with the government before. So that's an active parlor game, right? Like, is Sugar Shane Hennon, this is the parlor game at the Aria High Limit Bar, where he was this year just hanging out in the same places where the NBA guys hang out. He was found courtside. I mean, spoiler alert, we sort of revealed this in the episode in a way that's far more fun than me just like barfing it all out at you. But the dude was courtside at NBA games this year. He was watching the Miami Heat play, you guessed it, the Los Angeles Clippers this year, courtside. So he's just out here in a way that's sort of boggling the mind if he's also the guy who's supposed to be fearful of his own loss of freedom.
We can't sell enough that Shane Hennon, like, I know a lot of people listen like, who the hell is Shane Hennon? I don't care. Tell me more about Chauncey and Terry Rozier. This dude is a character. Yeah. Like, yes. he's living life exactly the opposite of someone who is feeling the heat of the fuzz coming down on him, right? He's out in Vegas. He's taking shots to the face. He's got models around with $100 bill bikinis, everything, man. This dude is living his life to the fullest.
You don't need to tell me anything else about a person than the phrase stabbing dudes in the neck in a pool hall. Like, that sentence is enough for me to say I know that person.
And then 2 weeks later, sold coke in the parking lot.
That's almost redundant. That's almost redundant what you just said.
He probably did it that day, too. We just don't know about that.
Stabbing dudes in the neck, and again, the signature on that, the punctuation, in a pool hall. In a pool hall.
Dan, you know how it goes down there.
This guy, it looks like a movie director would cast this person as slash ringleader slash snitch slash cliche.
Yes, allegedly. Look, the central casting of this, it really does bear underscoring. Like, go watch the video we made, because it is absurd, the level of how this guy is a real person. He is exactly on some level what you think, but in other ways he is surprising. And I think surprising to me, if nothing else, is the amount of just, again, to go back to the Tony rule of, is he in the room? Is he in the narthex? Is he adjacent? Is he in the mud room or whatever it is? The dude was around NBA players to a degree that is jarring, especially after he got caught up in the Jonte Porter indictment and investigation. These characters have been around the NBA, and whether or not, the big bold-faced names are the ones you care about, right? The people on the back page of the Post. There's Chauncey Billups, the New York Post, Hoop Fellas, as we celebrate, right? They got pretty good title. The real characters here are guys like Amara Wade and Shane Hennon. And a lot of people are asking, are all of these guys just athletes? It's like, no. In fact, the glorious sort of story in all of its absurdity here is that you get to meet these characters that are, I would say, beyond imagination in terms of how reckless they were in terms of publishing their whereabouts, such that not only the government could see it, but it turns out some obsessive podcasters could as well.
Pablo Torre finds out. Go find it and make sure that you listen, because there's a lot more information in it than what he just gave you. We started with candy, and I end with candy weirdness as well. Are you still a human being who has never chewed gum?
What?
That's correct.
You're weird.
That is
man.
correct. I mean, I once.
What
I
in
once,
hell?
I once ran. So I was. My origin story is that I was like at school one day, like running my hand underneath my desk absentmindedly, you know. And what do you think I felt there, gentlemen?
Your
members
penis.
of the jury. Okay.
Goon results.
Goon result.
That is a close runner-up to the actual answer.
Is it gum? Is it gum?
It is.
Pablo?
It was already been chewed gum, and I didn't know it. I'm just like fondling it, and then I look underneath the desk, and I'm horrified. I've been touching for the whole
The
time,
gum. Fondling the gum.
To be very clear, for legal reasons, the gum, and that is a traumatic experience. I'm not eating that. Come on, what do you think I'm going to put that in my mouth next? The gum?
That's
You know?
really the
Like,
reason
come on.
that you've never tried gum? That's the reason?
Yes, I was scarred by that. It's disgusting. Why do people do that?
You
Why
think
do
you're
you
supposed to
people do
eat the
that?
gum that's already been chewed and is under the
No,
desk?
no. Why do people chew gum and then stick it underneath their desk?
Grow up, man.
I mean, whatever it is that you people are doing over there, that you don't find that horrifying.
You people.
What do you mean, you people?
I go now.
Pablo
I go
Torre
now. I don't think this
finds
is
out.
going better for me.
See you later. Good talking to you.
Okay.
Thank you for the work. Thank you for the reporting. I want to place this in front of you guys because I really did think that the most magical thing about that Kash Patel press conference is just them casually mispronouncing but also bringing into play the phrase La Cosa Nostra. And so I just want to ask all of you, let me ask Chris and Zaz first. Do you guys want to translate that or try to translate that most literally?
I know what it translates to.
Chris, do you know what it translates to?
I know La Casa.
La Cosa. La Cosa Nostra.
It means this thing of ours.
The reason that I bring it up, right, is because it's not our thing. It's this thing of ours. And until hearing it used both incorrectly, the way they were pronouncing it, and in general this week, that I hadn't realized before that the reason it's said that way is, or I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's said that way because when you say that thing of ours on a wiretap, they can't prove what that thing of ours is. That's what I assume, and it's said so perfectly that it has a poetry to it where you're just hiding the menace and the threat in mafia talk when you say that thing of ours and we can't prove what you mean by that because it's cryptic enough.
That certainly sounds very legitimate, but La Cosa Nostra, that phrase has been around for many, many years. Like, I got to figure it's been around before anyone knew about a wiretap, right?
Probably before wiretaps, if you want me to be honest.
Well, but
it comes from the old country.
Okay, but if you're speaking around people, it's something that you're shrouding in a certain mystery. So if you're overheard, it can't be known what that thing is, whether it's a wiretap or not.
It's been around long enough for me to watch in the movies and say, damn, that's cool. I can't wait till I'm the director of the FBI and I could say that in a press conference. La Cosa Nostra.
You know
Say it
what?
incorrectly.
What's not cool, it seems to me, is that the guy who's afraid of gum is also dealing with the mob, Congress. I mean, the FBI. Is he not scared? Has he received? He's talking about people being afraid of taking his calls. Has he gotten legitimately any sort of, like we see in the movies all the time, like, let this one go, kid. You're not going to like what you find.
Dave, I've been worried for Pablo's life. Wow. Because, I mean, between the Clipper stuff, now the Mafia's in play. Like, he's stepping on the toes of the wrong people.
Tony's basically John Candy at JFK, sweating hard and telling Pablo in a Cajun accent, you need to let this one go. You don't know what you're messing with, boy.
You're not the only one who's concerned about Pablo. He's doing difficult work, and it has threats in it. And people who care about Pablo have been worried about him before these two stories. The Belichick reporting is stuff that people were worried about, although I don't think of Belichick wandering shirtless in front of a Ring doorbell cam as quite the same kind of menace. But yes, there are many people telling Pablo that he needs to let stuff go, and he doesn't let it go, except for the gum under the desk.
I could definitely see Jordan encouraging some defensive linemen to rough up Pablo. Wow. Teach him a lesson, boys.
Folks, listen up. All your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. New customers download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN to bet $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.